There are growing cracks in the Western alliance over Israel's ongoing offensive in Gaza. The UK, France and Canada have issued a rare joint warning to Israel, threatening action if the offensive in Gaza continues, while the EU is set to review its trade deal with Israel, a major shift from earlier Western support. What does this mean for the war in Gaza, US leadership and global diplomacy? Joining us now is international social economist Ismail Lagardien. Right, thank you Ismail for joining us. We've now seen joint warning and measures to Israel from some Western countries towards them. Just months ago, these Western allies are strong Israel backers. So what do you make of this dramatic shift?
Well, thanks for having me. One is tempted to say that any step towards peace or any step towards a resolution is a good step. The problem is that there are at least two things that we might want to look at. First is that we need to try and understand the difference between what the politicians say and what the rest of the country and what the military people, what they do. So the politicians probably trying to put themselves on the right side of history, because it seems more and more like people are coming around to the idea that the cruelty and the butchery that's going on in Gaza is really a genocide. Well, some of us have thought about it for a long time. It actually has, in my analysis, it is always it has the markers of a typical Holocaust, and I'm talking about the Holocaust as considered since for hundreds and hundreds of years, that you destroy a people, you destroy communities, families, their institutions, and it has a religious aspect. So this has all those elements. So we need to look at the way the British, in particular, in the old left-right divide, we used to say they talk left, but they walk right. So the British politicians seem to be talking human rights, but walking military aid. So they're not, unless they say, we will stop sending military aid, or we will get Palestinians to go back to their homes, we need to be very careful with reaching any kind of Panglossian conclusions here.
Right. Now, this kind of coordinated response, including calls to review trade deals and oppose settlement expansion, I think signals more than just symbolic frustration, right? Do you think this marks a turning point in how Western democracies approach Israel and the wider conflict?
I don't think it marks a turning point. The thing is, they will continue to stand by Israel. I mean, the most powerful political economy in Europe at the moment is Germany, and the German Chancellor has already said in the last few weeks, they will continue to stand with Israel indefinitely and forever. So the thing is, they're politically continue to be aligned with Israel for various reasons, and the main reason in the German case is, they have this battle with memory. They were responsible for, they admitted in 2021 to the genocide in Namibia, and we know between 1914 and 1945, at least 60 million extremely conservative people were killed because of German aggression and German expansion. So the Germans have this memory thing. They seem to think that they owe the world, they owe Israel an apology and unrelenting support for what the Germans did, but it's all being inflicted on the Palestinians at the moment. So these things aren't that simple, and yes, sure, the threat of trade deal is one, but Israel will continue to have military support and military backing from the United States and its allies in what we call the WENAU. It's a in global political economy. We speak of Western Europe, North America, and Oceania. So that basically North America, Europe, and Australia and New Zealand. And these people will continue to stand by these countries, and will continue to stand by Israel. But the politicians are coming around to the idea, because of the graphic images, that they need to put themselves on the right side of history.
Right. I mean, there's obviously history with regards to Israel and Western ties, but we can't deny there's growing public outrage and mounting civilian casualties going on right now. So, in brief, Ismail, how much pressure is building on the US to recalibrate its position, and could this widening rift among allies weaken America's global credibility?
I don't think the battles, the wars are going to stop anytime soon. The conflict, I beg your pardon, and I don't think that the British or the U.S. will prevent Israel. Remember, as soon as these threats of trade embargoes were made, Israel responded by saying that external pressure will not divert Israel from its path in defending its existence and security against enemies who seek its destruction. Now, that's very carefully worded language. Nobody, if you say my enemy is attacking me, you get the sentiment of people. But we have to understand that Israel represents the beachhead of the United States and of the West in the Middle East. So I don't think that there's going to be a major shift. Not until, because the Greater Israel Project is still a long way in the making, and it will probably continue.
Well, that's something that we definitely have to look into as the situation develops here. Thank you so much, Ismail, for your input.